This is the line card of the manufacturers that I represent. My name is Matt Stukenschmidt. I'm the local rep for Joe Birch Electrical Sales. And I wanted to say thanks to Kelly for inviting me in here to talk to you guys about some new products, some product innovations, some labor savers, and all kinds of neat things like that. So I'm going to start by talking about Encore wire, probably because that's the most expensive stuff on my line card, and that's the stuff that's probably the most valuable to you guys too. So Encore wire is a publicly traded company, hence the ticker symbol wire. It's on the NASDAQ. I've repped them for over 20 years, been a shareholder, and as a shareholder, I encourage you to buy the stock. So they're based out of McKinney, Texas. They have over 2 million square feet under roof. They just announced last month they're going to build another 700,000 square foot service center, not distribution center, service center, in order to help us get to our goal of 124. 100% fill rate, 24-hour shipping, which would be one thing if we sold lock nuts, but that's wire. That's a pretty commendable goal. And I'm pretty confident they can do it because their fill rates now are 99% anyway. So the additional service center should help us to be able to meet that so you guys can get your wire in a timely manner. The president of the company always says, if it comes to buying wire, there's 2 things you're looking for: price and availability. And if you can only have the one, the price doesn't do you any good. So we got to get it to you and get it to you in a timely manner. So that's just a timeline of how our campus has expanded since we started back in 1989, went public in 1991. McKinney, Texas, where we're out of, just north of Dallas. Somebody's familiar with the Texas area. That's the water tower for McKinney. That's the water tower for our plant. They were thinking ahead because when you're manufacturing copper wire, water shortages could be a big deal, and that can happen in Texas. So we've got our own water tower to make sure that ain't going to become an issue. They just keep expanding and growing. We got into the MC cable market back in the mid-2000s, doubled up our capacity on that. We decided we'd get into aluminum. What do you guys use in aluminum compared to copper now for your feeders? I mean, is it aluminum half the time, most of the time, copper?
Most, just a little over half.
Yeah, it's getting a lot more and more prevalent, and that was part of the reason we got into it. And do you need me to? Oh, okay. So we got into the aluminum to help us to sell copper and to not miss out on jobs that were going in aluminum. So some of the neat things that they do that's different than your normal commodity companies, and I would know because I've repped them, is there's not a layers. You got direct access to the management. The CEO of the company, I've got his cell phone number in my phone. I don't call him all the time, but it's about the only company on my line card that I got the guy's personal cell phone number that runs the company. So there's not a lot of layers like there is with most companies, you know. Decision makers or who you talk to. They can get stuff out the door quick because they do production meetings daily. I mean, if you guys want 750 pink, I can call down to the plant. They're going to say, we don't have any stock, but we'll run it tonight. We can get it shipped out on a truck over the weekend. Their production schedules aren't like most manufacturers where we're going to start getting you in line. 2 weeks from now, we got a little window where we can start making it. I mean, I sell Cantex PVC. I called down there, we're back ordered on 1.5 inches. It's not scheduled to run until next Thursday. Well, if you don't have any, probably, you know, but that's the way most manufacturers and their mentality is. So the way they do it is pretty neat in that regard. That's the products that we make, save time. Pretty much everything but medium voltage cable is what we offer. Some of the things we did to differentiate ourselves and make things easier, maybe more for the distributor, but we put foot marks on it. Anything number 1 and larger, it's foot marked from 1 to 1,000, 1 to 5,000, depending on what your size of run is. If you get a master reel, it'll tell you from start to finish. So I'm pulling off 5,000 foot reel. I see 2,500 feet. That's what I got left on my reel. So anything in our copper or aluminum line is foot marked above number 1. We will also buy the scrap back from you. We'll buy it back from you as the contractor or the distributor. We'll cut Kelly a credit or cut you guys a check, however you want to do it, but we can take your copper back.
How's that process work?
I can show you a video. Yeah, you can send it back with the jacket on it. And they basically chop it up and define the plastic goes this way, or the nylon, you know, the plastic and the nylon goes this way, and the copper goes that way. At the end, if we got time, I'll show you. They got a little video on it. I can send you a link to it. But
I'm really interested in this. So we pulled in all these copper feeders.
Yep.
I got all these tails left over.
Mhm.
I want to send back to you.
Yep.
I have to box them, pelletize them, send them to Kelly.
No, what we'll do is when they got a stock order coming into Lincoln, we'll send these empty Gaylords, and then you'll just throw it all into the Gaylords, and then you have to pay the freight to Texas, but then they'll cut you a check for the copper. And it's usually 35 cents less the going rate, so say like 2 1/4 today.
Okay.
But it's a good way for us to be environmentally friendly, and at the same time, as a shareholder, I know this because back in the 2000, remember Hurricane Katrina?
Mm-hmm.
PVC was like force majeure.
Yep.
That was Encore's best quarter ever in the history of the company because they took all their resin and sold it to the PVC manufacturers.
Right.
So that's, you know, a good way to do it.
Dude, we were running out of it. We couldn't get it.
They do, yeah. I mean, you would place an order for 4-inch PVC, and we'd say instead of giving you 5,700 feet, how about we give you 1,140 feet? Because it was on a ration deal. Some of the things that Encore does to differentiate themselves and to make life easier for you guys in the field is you can kind of see it on this picture. They'll layer reels, so you can get a reel with a run, another run over the top of it, another run over the top of it. So, you know, you've seen the compartmentalized reels. We'll also do it with the layering, so you can do that with our reel payoffs. We'll plex the cable together. We'll put the company logo if you want to put Wilmar. Is it? Do I say it right? Is it Wilmar?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, in Minnesota it's Wilmer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I saw somebody from Minnesota. They said you're just calling it wrong. I said, well, down here. Then. So okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't offending anybody in the process. But we're out of McKinney, Texas, and Jerry Jones, kind of an egomaniac, you know, right down the street to the Cowboys owner. When they built the stadium, we put the Dallas Cowboy logo on some of their feeder cables. So that's stuff we can do at the plant when we make the wires. So, you know, like tray cable, we can do colored innards, colored outer jack. Instead of just being black, 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 we can do all the different colors. In fact, Encore Wire was the manufacturer that came out with colored wire in feeders, not circuits, feeders. Guess when that was? What year did feeder colors come out?
93.
Come on, Dave.
No, I'm going to say 2000.
Very good, 1999. Because nobody really started using it until 2006, 7, somewhere
Right.
in there. You know, it never really gained traction, but they came out with it in 1999. It got voted, first time ever and the only time ever, at a trade show, a commodity got voted most innovative new product. And now think about it, I mean, it's you know, what's black? You walk in and black wire, you know.
Why is there 4 black wires?
You get wire from us directly from the factory. It's labeled, so you know exactly what it is. So I can tell right on here, brown, orange, yellow. I got 2 runs at 230 feet. It's 350 MCM. And if you want us to, we can say what run it is for data center such and such. That's the run that it's going to be. So it makes it real easy when you're staging them. There's also a QR scan on there too, so you can download the cut sheets if an engineer or somebody needs something like that. We don't make tools, but if you want to get pulling heads on it, iTools provides the pulling heads for us to put them on there to send them out to you if you want the pulling heads as a part of it.
We put crimps on it?
Yeah.
Because those are reusable.
Oh, the
right?
socks? No, those aren't. Those are cutoffs. Ours.
Those are just
yeah, yeah. But if you want that, 3E does that in our house, so you can do it that way. I've rep, you know, being old and doing this a long time, rep AIW, Coleman, different wire manufacturers over the years, and it seemed like you'd always get that call about nick jacket, nicking the wire, you know, whatever it is. We've gotten around a lot of that. On anything that's non-THHN, we do a dunk test. We dunk it in the wire, meg it out, and make sure there's no impurities in the jacket itself. On THHN, we do a spark test. It's right on my video. Yeah, here we go.
This is a sparker box. We have a sparker box on every manufacturing line. These hanging chains are electrified. If there is a nick or pinhole in the wire, the machine will sound the alarm and the line will be shut down.
Ding, ding, ding,
This
ding.
is a scrap piece of wire I cut and had them send through the box to show you how it works. Every piece of wire that we cut goes through this process.
So, I mean, just neat things outside the box because that's expensive as hell for you guys in the field. You know, you pull some wire in, you got a nick in the jacket, and now you
So what you're saying is if it shows up on their job site, Nick, we probably did it.
yeah, it was done by the distributor. You know?
This sure as heck can happen when we pulled it in.
Oh, I forgot you were here, Kelly. Sorry. We've also got the slick jacket on all our copper, aluminum, anything but our underground cable has the slick jacket on it. We first came out with Super Slick, but we didn't find that was slick enough, so we came out with Super Slick Elite. So there we got the slickest in the industry. Striping wire. It's getting more and more preferential with your neutral striping the wire. You know, the old spiral striping on the side or else a straight stripe. It's so hard to see. You couldn't see the stripe. We use a circular stripe. And the cool thing is when we make the wire, we make the stripe. So you got that piece of nylon that goes on at the end of over the jacket at the end. We're doing the color underneath that nylon. Why is that a good deal? It won't rub off and it doesn't affect the slickness of the wire because you're not painting over the jacket to make it less slick. So barrel packs, you can get your circuit wire in a barrel pack, multiple conductors. MC cable, I know Lincoln kind of so-so on that. You can use steel MC now, right? In certain applications?
Yes.
Okay, but no aluminum, correct? Yeah, I thought what I called Ed, it was still no. Which makes it kind of neat. When you get the aluminum or MC cable from us, it's labeled. So I know what size it is just by seeing the yellow, it's number 12. And then I can tell if it's steel or aluminum jacket by the other piece of non-conductive tape that's on it. So makes it easy to.
You doing that in barrels?
Yep. Is that you that asked? Sorry. Not only can I only see out of one eye, I can only hear out of one ear. So yeah, in fact, we do the 55-gallon drums at 12.2. We only do the barrels in the aluminum jacket though, not in the steel jacket because the weight's too much. It just kind of shows how easy it is to transport it around the job site. Another thing that we do that's pretty unique is the reel payoff. You get this on a pallet. You can pull these brackets out the side, and then I can spin my wire right off the pallet. So if I got like a high up run, I can put it on a forklift, run it up there, pull the brackets out, pull the wire right off the self-spinning reel. If I take it off the job, take it off the trailer to move around the job, it moves just like a wheelchair would. So I could get it right through that door and roll it into the office. And then these blocks right here, they're your wheel blocks to keep the reel from swaying back and forth. And then you can send the reel back to Kelly. They can re-spool a wire on it and you just keep reusing it. Circuit wire and pull pro packs. I call it the bowling bag pack. You can carry these around the job site like you would your bowling bag. Very durable. Plastic on the outside. And it's got an internal shrink wrap on the inside. If you ever go to the Encore Wire app or our website, they got a video of one of the guys throwing them off the silos to show how durable they are. 18-wheel truck driving over them, where they still could pull the wire out of the pack itself. So,
Stranded, not solid.
we make them in solid, but I don't want you to buy it in solid. Too much memory, you know, because that isn't coiled in there. What's cool with this, the way they put it in there, if you're using stranded, are you stranded, solid, both?
We're both.
Okay. The stranded's neat because when you're pulling it out, it doesn't plex together like you have a 500-foot spool. You know, when you're pulling that, they kind of spool together, and it's a bitch to push it through the conduit. With this, it doesn't have that plexing. It goes straight through a lot better. So you can get that in 10, 12, or 14. The other thing that's really neat, for a wire manufacturer, we got our own UL test lab. So if you ever need cable tested for any particular reason or you need to meet a certain specification, we've got our own UL test lab. When we came out with tray cable, the guy was talking about how long a life it is. I'm like, how do you know? We've only made it for 2 years. Well, they can age something a month in a day or age something a year in a couple days at the plant by having the UL Tech Lab. So anything that's out there, oddball stuff that you need, call down and they can do, or call me or call Kelly and we can do it for you. And the other thing is we got a neat little app on our smartphones nowadays. If you want to do copper to aluminum conversion, conduit fills, need a cut sheet on wire, you need to know what 4/0 weighs and per thousand, whatever. It's all available right on the Encore Wire app. So it's a free app for you to use. Any questions at all on wire or on score specifically?
Will you group up a hot and neutral wire at the factory on number 12?
Do what now?
Will you group a hot and neutral at the factory?
In a barrel.
A black wire and a white with a black stripe. Will you pair that up at the factory? Number 12.
We'll do it in a barrel, but we won't do it like together.
Yeah,
We'll put them in a barrel.
I want together one reel.
One reel.
One reel.
Show you what I'm talking about. We
Okay.
got some over our shop.
Do you guys do it at your place? Okay.
No. Yeah, we got some.
The only thing we do is the barrels, like those packs.
We've got a roll of black. Basically what they did is they took a 2,500-foot roll.
Yep.
white with a red stripe and a 2,500-foot roll of red, and they run it together on one reel. So it's technically 1,250 feet
It's to get,
long,
okay,
but there's
2,500 feet of wide.
of each one, okay. The only thing I would have was like those Pull Pro packs, you could have those set next to each other and pull them out together at the same time. You know, that'd
I
be,
want with
'cause
one reel, not 2 packs.
we can pull those right out of the cardboard box. Put them on a little cart stand and here,
What else you got?
this is kind of recaps what I talked about, some of the
Gotcha.
value adds and labor saver stuff that you can get. Or that is available out there. Yeah, self spinners.
Yeah, we're recording it for the foundation. So if you guys have questions, push it, the lights up green, that way they can hear your questions.
Okay, Leviton. Thank you so much for your guys' support of Leviton wiring devices. A few things that are out that are new that maybe you've seen or haven't seen, but if anybody used the Type-C or have a phone that has the Type-C plugs now, it's universal in that you can use it from both sides. Both ends are the same. It's faster. That was always one of the complaints with these standard USB. You'd have to plug it in the right way. Both ends are different. Everything's the same. But the big thing is it's considered 3 times faster. What's that? No, with the tariffs coming down, the standard USBs have gotten relatively inexpensive, but shoot, you can get into the Type-Cs now for under $30. Yeah, the USB price. Under 30.
Oh, I think we could sell those to you for like $28.
Yeah, if it's a standard USB, they're even less than that. The other thing is GFIs, ground fault circuit interrupters, life-saving devices. How about a GFI that chirps at you when it's tripped? Instead of being back behind it, you don't know what's going on. If this trips, it gives you the annoying high-low doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, the old British. What's that?
Kevin Wolf was bugging you about that all the time.
Oh, wanted to have them?
He wanted to have the
GFIs that would be able to trip out, yeah. So it is. I put them in my basement. When I put the drain tile in my basement, I put those in there. I walk through the front door, you can hear it if the GFIs trip. So think about it. Garages. That's a night light.
That's a night.
Yeah. So getting ahead of me here. So that's the audio GFI. The nice thing is it doesn't add a bunch to the cost, the night light or the audio version. The night light, there's a photo sensor on there. So right here, that sensor, if we're in this room right now, it's going to look just like it is in your hand. But if I go back, shut the lights off, it's going to light up and I'm going to be able to get around the kitchen counter or bathrooms, a lot of places where you don't have to flip the light on. All right. Okay, then an item that's been out a long time, but it just seems like here recently is starting to get called out for more and more is Levelock devices because of the time savings that it can provide when it comes to devices. I don't think so. Or I wouldn't have brought it up. We've had them out for a while, but we've got them in switches now. We've got them in aux sensors now. We've got them in USBs now. They got them in the full line. You can even get them in surge. You can get them in switches. You can get them in the aux sensors. Have you guys tried them before?
No, but what I was, I think we have talked about this before. So there is first of all, the blade is a connection point, correct?
What's that?
The blade is a connection point for the circuit.
Yeah.
Then this conductor piece is a connection point.
Okay.
Then I have another connection point for the wiring.
Okay.
Maybe 2 at most, here and at the blade, and that's it.
Okay.
which I think we can get devices, correct, with tails on them
Yeah.
from the factory.
Yes, yeah, we do that as well too. That's what we had before that we came out with those. We did those because that's just a faster, when you go and device it out, it's just the way you go. And realistically, hospitals are required to check their receptacles every 6 months. If they don't pass the ground tension test, they got to replace them. That's much easier to replace than a conventional receptacle.
Is this live circuit rated?
No.
Work on that.
Yeah, good luck.
Well,
Good luck.
Realistically, okay, well, you have the same thing in light fixtures. You have that disconnect switch
Mm-hmm.
on a light fixture so that when you turn it apart, you can work on the fixture. Why can't this be the same thing?
Yeah,
Been drinking emergency.
Right?
people do it, but yeah, it's not.
So that when you go ahead and pull it apart, replace that receptacle, take it apart, slap a new one in, never have to turn the circuit off.
Could become a
There
possibility.
you go.
The other thing that's neat with our design is you may have seen other brands of them where they plug into the back. A lot of engineers, when they get into Fed spec devices, they want a solid back strap. There's no way to do that if you plug into it. Whereas ours, the back strap, whether you heavy duty or the extra heavy duty style, you have that all one piece back strap. So I actually got a job with an engineer because we had that feature and nobody else did. The contractor wanted to use the play and plug devices. The other thing that's cool with our GFI receptacle that you can do that when these came out, I don't know why they didn't do it, you can feed through it. You can actually feed through the GFI. So in the past, you'd make the device there, you couldn't feed down line, you wouldn't have any GFI protection. You'd have to go each and every one of them a GFI. With this design now, you can feed through it. Because it's got the feed through terminals. If I'm a sales guy, my lips are moving, you probably think I'm full of crap.
We are.
You can go to our website. They got a little thing on there where you could say, hey, I'm going to pay this much for my conventional device. I'm going to pay this much for the lev lock and the lead. My labor rate's such and such. And then you can figure out, hey, is this worth it? Would it make sense to use these instead? I'm just mentioning this because do you guys run into like EMON stuff at all? You ever run into jobs where they need sub-metering? Probably nobody realized Leviton had it. Leviton acquired a company called IMS, and it's been a pretty good boom for us. We're gaining a lot of traction on that stuff and get a building lead certified. They need to do that kind of thing. So as you run into that stuff, please get a hold of me or Kelly and let us know if we can help you out with it. Floor boxes. Came out with a line of floor boxes just because they're getting so much more prevalent in the commercial applications. Some of the neat things with it, I really like the protective concrete cover, and it's also got a self-leveler. You got the low voltage divider. You got the leveling ring so I can adjust it when I get it into the floor at the end.
Attached to the box. I've always had problems with those.
Either one of us, doesn't matter.
What's that?
I've always had problems with those in the past. They're supposed to, how does that one hook to the box?
I don't have my sample with me, but I can get Kelly a sample. On my line card there, Joseph, he's got my box sample. I've got to get it from him, but we'll get one here and get one down to you because we've gotten real positive feedback from people as far as ease of which they are to install. But I mean, all the types of jobs you guys are using, I mean, you see them all over the place anymore. Almost all these new buildings are putting the floor boxes in. So any questions on devices or Leviton or anything regarding switches, receptacles? You guys aren't like me. When you go to stay in a hotel, you don't run into the bathroom to see what brand of GFI they have.
No.
And if it got Leviton, then I'll stay there again. If they don't, then I'm never going to stay there again. Okay, I'm nuts. You guys walk in and look at the lighting, though, don't you? I also rep for Merson, which is the old Frost Shaman, the old Gould Shaman, the old Chase Shaman for you old guys.
Yep.
That's our fuse line, but I'm not going to get into fuses. I'm going to get into some of the products you guys are probably starting to see specified a lot more often and kind of see where you guys are getting them or what you're doing. Fuse coordination panel boards. Are you guys installing those? You seeing those on healthcares or
Healthcare,
arenas?
emergency, life safety.
Yeah, they're.
At the university, a lot of their life safety panel.
Who do you guys get them from?
I think we've been mostly just Cooper Busman's, I believe. It's been
Okay. They were the first one to come out with it. We've got some neat things that I'll show you here that end users like some of the features to ours. And our field engineers done a nice job of going around to the specifiers and getting this added to the specifications because, you know, the engineer doesn't want a busman only type spec. They want to have a different option. So basically what they're trying to do with the selective coordination is keep the short isolated so it doesn't take out everything upstream. What we do to make ours unique is we incorporate a breaker and a fuse. Because most of the time if something trips, it's usually an overload, you can just reset the breaker. If you use that Cooper Busman one, they use a cube fuse. It's going to blow the fuse, and then you got to find the fuse. Well, if mine blows, you're going to have a Type CC fuse, and it's a Sunday night. I could drive down to the hardware store and pick one up. If you're there before 6. I found out the hardware store closed at 6 on Sunday. But I mean, it's a CC fuse. Everybody has CC fuses. I mean, they're readily available. A cube fuse, you've probably seen it on your jobs that you've done the Busman one. They require a spare set of fuses in the cabinet just in case they blow a fuse. Whereas with ours, it's just a standard UL class of fuse. Hell, you could put the other fuse brands in there instead of ours.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys provide it or not, but so that we're running a lot of cases where that needs to be locked on because they're life safety circuits, they're flying fire alarm panels and stuff. And I know we ran into big problems with Cooper Busman not being able to
Be locked on?
they need to be locked on.
Okay.
Or more
So make sure you take that back to you. There needs to be some mechanism to, you know, like a breaker, like for any square D breaker, GE breaker, you can clip on a little silver clip that keeps it from accidentally tripping.
Yep.
Or
being turned off accidentally.
Being turned off accidentally. So by that, that's what I mean by locked on.
Hey, I'm gonna make myself a note. I'll ask our field guy. Lock on.
I got emergency GFI or emergency outlet, see? That's how I want to look at it.
But if yours has the breaker, if the breaker's like that, legit breaker, like I have a breaker.
It's a square D breaker.
Right.
I mean, we got no affiliation with Square D, and I'm not saying it'll be Square D forever, but they're the only gear manufacturer that doesn't offer these, so it only makes sense that we partner up with each other to try to provide them.
You can use like a square D lock on your guys'.
Yeah, so I'll find out and let you know. Elevator switches. Seeing these on any jobs that's got the elevators. Basically, you guys know how they work or why they work, but we've got the elevator switches as well. So,
you know, I think that always just comes down to a spec thing. I mean, they're the same switch, right? I mean, as a Cooper,
yeah.
Time for the elevator disconnect.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. If you guys run into
a
it,
lot of times they're not. Cooper Bus would be the only thing in the spec.
well, let us know because we've in the last few years. Jeremy Leland's my guy. He's the field engineer for Mercy. He's been going around and working hard to get these specified. So if you're not, you know, some of the engineers we've done lunch and learns, they said they'll add it. Well, engineers don't make any money adding somebody to spec, but usually with a phone call from me or from him, they'll say, "Oh yeah, you're okay."
We've had several scenarios where we submitted on the Faraz one and they were fine with it. They approved it.
Well, a lot of them though can't get it. It's got to be approved before it bids. You know what I mean?
You can possibly run into that, but let me know. You guys are seeing the prints. If they're not on there, please get to me or Kelly because we want to make sure you got that option as far as a second source for that type of product. Then you guys have all used fuse reducers in the past. Why wouldn't you just have a reducer fuse? You know, a lot of these circuits now, they're lowering the amperage, but you got a different size fuse. Well, we make in the RK1, so like the FRS, TRS, those type of fuses, you can get an RK1 version of that, a fuse reducer, or the Class J junior volt fuses. You can get them that way as well too. So that's a new product that's out there. It'd be a lot easier, a lot safer, a lot more timely. What's that?
It just means I have to stock another fuse.
No, I use it. That's kind of a special order type thing, you know. The ones
You're running into it a lot. I feel like.
you think
like we buy the smaller fuses more than we buy regular.
Yeah, I mean, does it make sense to you?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I thought somebody was thinking there. So
I'll carry these around all day.
I'll knock this out.
I bet you would.
then moving on to Intermatic,
Help clean out your next.
I wanted to mention our line of
Boy, make mine.
electronic time clocks. These are getting way more user-friendly now. That brochure I just passed out, on the back of it,
Blue wire, make this up. drywall paint, and it comes down to the device, you just go.
If you've got a specific application where you need a time clock for, this is a nice little cheat sheet telling you the basics, what I need, the basic plus, or the enhanced clock is what I need. I mean, you get into the enhanced clock, you can actually program it right from your computer, plug in a USB, plug it into the clock, and away you go. You can do holidays to the second programming. You've got a lot more versatility with those particular types of clock than you did with the old mechanical styles from before.
You can't dim or change color with the LEDs.
What's that?
You can't dim or change color.
No.
Okay.
The other one I'll mention is photo eyes. You guys had issues with photo eyes with LED lighting?
Yeah, used to. Now you get them rated.
Yes. Well, I think this is kind
You
of funny.
see it all the time.
You guys hear that?
Good photo control's gone bad. Sure, they had a good time with the HIDs and the tungsten gang, but that era is over. And you just can't make them see the light. Look, the light, it's on. LED is the new game in town, and he comes with a dangerous kick. That high in-rush current. Those old thermal photo controls feel that high in-rush, and they think they can handle it. But they can't. They're just not built for it. They wear down with every hit, so they're just another fried day burner. Horrible waste. You're wasting electricity! The meter's running. I think I hear an iceberg melting. All these burnouts have really stretched our resources. Sure, your LEDs might last 10 to 20 years, but it means nothing if you keep having to go up to change the photo control. But there is hope. New breed of electronic photo controls, Nightfox from Intermatic, are built for the demands of LED while still working with your HID and tungsten fixtures too. They're engineered and tested to stand up to high inrush currents with state-of-the-art zero crossing technology. Zero means zero, not even once. Nightfox photo controls are put through hell and back. Sub-freezing temperatures and scorching heat, high voltage shocks and surges, and all the harshest elements of the outdoors, just to make sure they'll never let you down, even in the toughest circumstances. Because that's what they're made of, damn it. With a conformal-coated PCB and built-in surge protection, Nightfox photo controls have the guts to stick by you. They have an expected lifespan of 10 to 20 years and an 8-year warranty. That means they'll last as long, if not longer, than your LED fixtures, because no one wants to waste all that time and money going up and dealing with day-burning burnouts. It's about time we all stood up and did something about this problem. Kick those old thermal burnouts to the curb and get Nightfox electronic photo controls from Intermatic. Together, we can end this crisis.
But it's a little overblown. But I mean, truthfully, I mean, that was a problem. I mean, the LED was way ahead of the photo controls. You had all kinds of failures. And I mean, it's not like they're just easy to go and replace like a switch in a wall. I mean, they're a nightmare. But this is just a button type that's LED rated. If you guys remember the old style, about half that depth, because they incorporate an MOV in here to make them more durable so they can handle that inrush he was talking about that LEDs are causing out in the field. So the other thing is don't even worry about the old photo eyes, because those will work with HID too. So pretty much anytime you're dealing with LED, you need to get a photo eye and make sure it's rated as such. Then the other one I wanted to mention from Intermatic is the extra duty covers. A few years ago in the code, you had to go to that extra duty. You know what you had to do to meet the extra duty requirement? Why the code required them? Basically, it's a crush, impact, and then you had to firm up your hinges. Because how many times you see an in-use cover and you see the cover of it ripped off and you basically have the live receptacle sitting there, so it completely defeated the purpose. So these new extra duty covers are very durable, versatile, and yet they're pretty low profile too. So then last but not least, I mentioned this just basically tribute to Dave and my conduit days from before, but I want to make sure everybody, like Republic conduit, LTV conduit, Maverick conduit, you guys maybe you've heard that name thrown around the industry a bunch of years. Republic was recently acquired by Nucor Steel. So I get puffed up in the chest because now I can say we're a local company because we got a Nucor plant up in Norfolk. But so that's the only thing that changed. The name is now Republic, is also known as Nucor. You can call it either or. Most people remember us as the inch mark guy. We were always had the diamond knurl. We were always the one that had, the conduit just seemed to bend easier and wouldn't kink, and it was just a all-around nicer conduit. The blue inch mark is no more. It's actually etched in there. It's a metal etching. So the inch mark, if you're using colored conduits, the main reason we did that, so that your colored conduit still would be able to show the inch mark, because if you painted purple conduit onto a blue, you're not gonna be able to see the inch mark anymore. So, and we had people complain, you know, in an open ceiling, they'd say, I don't like that blue line, it doesn't look good. So we just went into where we just etched it right into the conduit. And speaking of that, colored conduit, more and more prevalent all the time. So as you run into that, I think they're stocking quite a few of the different colors now over at 3E, so that's getting more and more prevalent. So questions, queries, complaints, recommendations, orders, we'll take those. And no, please don't tell me to get out. Any questions? I passed out the line card. Was there any other manufacturers that maybe I didn't talk on, you guys might have an issue with? My product offerings are pretty tied up with 3E, so we can probably get you whatever you need off of any of those companies you might have a question on. When I was running through the Levlock, I forgot to mention, but we got a little tester for the Levlock too. So if you want to test it, you got to test before the job's done. This will make sure you got polarity and everything. Just takes the place of that lead and just, or it goes right into that lead and it'll take the place of the receptacle.
7 to 10 years ago, they used to have conduit that had fittings on it, actually EMT. You could get it with set screw fittings on it and compression fittings on it.
Yep.
Has that gone away?
We've never offered it. When we make our conduit, and that's why, if you call me up and say my conduit's rusted, I'm going to say, oh, it ain't my conduit. And you're going to say, it is. No, I can truly feel that way because we make them in 10-foot lengths. Most manufacturers make like a 100-footer and then they'll cut them. So like we don't even offer 20-footers. Some guys offer 20-footers in EMT. We don't do it that way. We make the 10-footer, then we do the epoxy coat finish so you don't get the rusting on the ends. If we made them in 100-footers, you cut them, you're always going to have that possibility of having the rust in the corners if you do it that way. So that was kind of a neat little manufacturing trick we did to keep from rusting. But that being said, that keeps us from getting into the fittings on the end of it. So that's a little bit of the drawback possibly to that. So what was the neatest thing you saw today? And you can come up with more than one, but at least come up with one.
I was surprised to see that your wire comes on. We can get it on that reel and reel.
Yeah. In fact,
I did not know that we could get it.
Let me do this.
What is it? It's a reel and a reel. So yeah, it spins. Both. It's like multiple runs on one reel, and then he's got a reel and a reel, like the Southwire reels were, or the ones that you could put on a reel. They'll just bring it from the factory that way.
Yeah, hang on. We got a few minutes here.
What's the order time? I mean, what are we? There again, that always just falls into the buyout stuff, right? Like if you order it that way.
The industry's first self-spinning wooden reel just got better. Encore Wire's reel payoff is delivered on a custom-designed 4-way pallet, making it easy to position and easy to pick up. All reel payoffs are shipped in a roll-off position to place in your desired location or pull straight from the pallet. Less moving and less contact reduces material handling costs and possible damage to the wire.
With a reel payoff being in a roll-up position, you don't have to flip it. You don't have to struggle with worrying about the damage. Having the spool in a threaded pallet is a lot easier to maneuver. It's a lot easier to use just a pallet jack and carry it through the job.
Standard doorways? No problem. All reel payoff reel sizes roll right through. In a tight spot? No problem. The reel payoff rotates within its own axis for 360-degree maneuverability. Perfect for small spaces.
As far as getting into tight spaces, this is way, way better than any of the standard old way of, moving the wire reels, and this is a lot easier for us.
Especially in production, when you don't have to get as many people to a single pole, when you reduce the amount of people you need for a pole, when you don't have to struggle with many spools at the same time, when you don't have to pick up 2 or 3 spools to put it in jack stands, they're not fatigued, you can pull more wire.
With safety being key, the space between the inner and outer flanges has been increased. The result? Better control of the reel, which equals better control on the job site.
You can use just one guy to maneuver around tight corners. On the safety side of it, it's big because we don't have to carry the jack stand. We don't have to get the pole on the jack stand. Saves us from labor strain, back strain, upper position.
Even small adjustments can go a long way. The outer flanges have been enlarged by 2 inches, giving the inner reel more clearance to spin on rough and uneven surfaces, providing more room to do the job it was designed to do.
Using the reel payoff, we had 3 guys instead of 7 guys feeding the wire. As far as setting up, pretty much got like an hour to set up faster.
In a single day, we got up to 7 pulls. That's not typical. You can pull more wire in a single day.
For this being our first time, we're definitely going to use it on other job sites.
Real job site, real labor savings, the real payoff.
When I was mentioning those Pull Pro packs, just to show the durability of them, because people are like, they're not going to hold up. Internal shrink wrap. Well, that is the way to carry it. I don't know if you want to install that wire, but yeah, some of that was just thrown away. Eventually gets good to find. know, you think about that, you can't even get a 500-foot spool to fall out of the back of a van without breaking the flange.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, about 500 feet. So it comes in these cardboard boxes when they ship it. It's not in the plastic packs until you take them out. But this shows how neat it is compared to the spool we talked about earlier. You don't get that flex into the wire when you're pulling it in. A lot easier than taking your big stand around and trying to get it positioned right. You just pull it right off of the cart. Take them out of the box and you can just snap them together, stack them on top of each other. That's right. That's two Kelly out of my 1,250 feet on number 12. Yep. Number 12 is 1,250. We try to keep it up, well, you gotta be under 30 pounds to be OSHA happy or whatever. So we kept it 10, 12, and 14, but you didn't get above the 30 pounds. So. We offer them in solid, but I recommend stranded. And I didn't mention that earlier. There's a little hole on the side, so if you've got too much wire pulled out, you can pull it back into the case too when you're done. No, we don't. The foot marking going on number 1. It's just too small. Yeah. Why not? What about the barrel packs? You ever use the barrels?
Yeah, never again.
Really? Did you use a Cyclone? What type of barrel did you use?
I haven't.
Well, that was solid. Yeah, we do. We don't. You cannot get our barrels in solid wire. We only do the barrels in the strand. But we use an actual tapered nose.
Cyclone barrel packs are designed as an improvement over traditional wire
pulls. In case you didn't know,
and are more efficient than other barrel packs in our industry. Available in 55 and 75 gallon drums, the Cyclone fits evenly on a pallet for easy transport. Standard dollies or carts can be used to quickly transport the Cyclone to any location. There is no need whatsoever to purchase additional equipment. Simply remove the lid, detach the wire tail from the secured position, tie to the pulling device, and begin the pull. Encore's patent-pending Cyclone guarantees an easy payoff without tangles. Even for a low-position pull, the Cyclone barrel pack does not require any additional equipment. Nothing needs to be added or attached to the barrel for a successful pull. Once the pull is complete, the ends are easily secured again for the next pull. Snap the lid back, secure to a standard dolly, and take it away. No mess, no cleanup. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Yeah, we'll do stripes, you know, whatever.
So if I wanted...
That's back to where it's the neat thing about Encore is it's made to order stuff. We'll just start making them, you know. I mean, we stock some barrels in like single conductor, but most of them we'll just make them as we get the orders for them. And I mean, Kelly to testify, I mean, there's nobody ships their goal of 124. You would laugh at that, but Encore with their history, they'll be 100% fill in 24 hours. That's, to me, it just blows my mind when I got companies that can't fill a 10-page lock nut order. Yeah, wires come a long way from what's your price on 12 solid.
Yeah. How would it work with what Rock would do? How would it work in our system?
What?
Those. Like if I wanted to order a barrel with 750 with 6 colors of it, does it work in our current system or no?
No, we never ordered it that way. We ordered it off
Right.
5s or 500,
So you just have to know going in.
Did you know copper is 100% recyclable, and nearly 80% of copper produced in the world is still in use today? Copper can continue to be recycled without any changes to its properties. In fact, it retains 95% of its original value. Our scrap program allows us to minimize our impact on the environment for the betterment of our customers, their families, and the communities in which they live. We purchase Bear Bright copper chops and insulated copper wire. To get started, call us or email us for a purchase order number. Once your PO is received, your recycled scrap copper is picked up and arrives at our docks. All received loads are unloaded and staged in a holding area for future processing. All contaminants, rejected material, that were removed while processing the load will be quarantined until the respective customer vendor is notified. Encore Wire has a large appetite for high purity copper scrap and is interested in facilitating your copper recycling efforts. Samples of any copper in question can be sent to Encore Wire for approval. The samples will be melted, then analyzed on our mass spectrometer to confirm chemistry and copper content. The insulated copper scrap is processed through a chopping line. The chopping line granulates the insulated wire, allowing copper to liberate from the insulation. The granulated choppings travel across a screener and then a density separator. The copper is captured off the density separator while the plastic is diverted to a collection container for potential recycling. The recovered copper chops undergo a QA inspection before transporting to the rod mill for consumption. Once processing is complete, the reclaimed copper weight and the weight of any rejected material is sent to purchasing for payment. Payment is made 45 to 60 days after receipt of material. The bare copper scrap is processed through a proprietary recycling line. This recycling process helps ensure the metal is contaminant-free and provides an optimal finished product for efficient melting at the rod mill. Scrap is loaded into the furnace, melted, casted, and rolled into 5/16" rod. The rod is then drawn down and used to make building wire. We make it easy for you to get paid. Send us your scrap today.
The other thing, and I kind of biased because I'm a shareholder in the company too, but the other thing I think it's really neat about Encore, they're committed to the electrical distributor, electrical contractor market. They don't, if you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Menards, you're not going to find 1 foot of Encore wire in them. They don't sell to any of the DIY market, which I think that's pretty commendable in this day and age. That's a lot of, they walked away from Lowe's a few years ago because Lowe's wanted them to help be a sales force for Lowe's, and they walked away from millions of dollars of non-metallic business because they just didn't like the way the DIYs go to market and do business. So I think that's kind of neat in this day and age to have that mentality. How long it'll be that way, I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of money to say no to, but question on the non-metallic. I say that because I'm not supposed to say Romex, because, you know, Romex, that's the old Rome cable. Romex is a trade name of Southwire. So we call it NM, or actually NMB. You seen NMB? You remember NM? B gave it a higher temperature rating in the late 80s, so they had to put the B on there because there used to be NM and NMB. Well, now it's all NMB. So